I think it was September 2023. I was like, I should return to my heritage travel trip series. And so I'm doing it now. And heritage travel trip, I abbreviate HTT. And so I did my first of these trips in July 2019, and I have some videos from that on this channel. And I came up with this 2017, 2018, because there wasn't any place that I really wanted to travel. This is my Polish sheep herding hat, Sterkowski, I'm wearing. And I was like, except for maybe like where I'm from, like it'd be good if I want to travel. I'd started making more money. I was making like, you know, $35,000 a year, which is the most I ever made, kind of thing, was making. And I was like, I have a little bit to travel. Maybe I'll do like with how much money I make, I can afford like a trip approximately every 2 years. So I should go to the lands of my ancestors. And so I dubbed it my Heritage Travel Trip series. And I started off with Scotland, and I bought those airplane tickets in I think it was August 2018, and went in July 2019. And then in July 2019, I bought my airplane tickets to Ireland for May and June of 2020, and then that one didn't happen. So I'm over 3 years delayed. And so I'm revisiting it because I had laid out previously in a couple of videos. I'll link to both of the videos. So one I described the entire series and what it is, including the tentative ordering. And then there's another video where I describe my approach, or kind of like how I think about the trips, based on the one I had done and kind of thinking forward. And those are both from December 2020. So I'll link to those in the video description, as well as my playlists for each of the countries or trips in my Heritage Travel Trip series as of current. So I'm filming this on Friday, 13 October 2023 in the Indian Southern Community in City of Shoreline, King County, Washington State, United States of America, Planet Earth, the original. And I said in September 2023, my goal was to revisit it either September or October 2023. So I'm making it. If you confused the 1-3 for a 3-1, don't worry. It's not Halloween yet when I'm filming this. We got over 2 weeks. So I'm getting it done. Not at the end of that window of time to return. But also not at the beginning, because it's October and it's mid-October. I would consider the 13th of a 31-day month mid-October. Anyway. Alright, so that's the introduction. So I'm going to revisit stuff I have already put in video form here on this YouTube channel, Tanis Leonardi. My name is Tanis Leonardi. Alright, up first category is countries included in why. So these are countries I have ancestry to. So there's Scotland, Ireland, Germany, Italy, England, Poland, United States of America, Norway. So that's what it currently is. I have also, since I started kind of conceptualizing this and laying it out, I have learned that I have like documented ancestry to like what is now modern day Austria, kind of thing. So there's at least one country that like is like, okay, it's not on this list, but I was kind of aware of the Austria thing. We grew up being told we were from Tyrolia, from the grandparents, and Tyrolia is like southern Germany, Austria, northern Italy. And I was like, okay. But that, like, okay. And so, but I was like, if I keep doing that, and I am from more than 8 countries or modern day regions, right, and I keep learning that eventually there's a cutoff, right? There's finite space on planet Earth, and I'm only from planet Earth. I'm an Earthling. So then where do I cut off? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with the 8 things that was like not so wishy-washy when I was growing up. So that's why those 8. Okay? There might be more. And if I were to actually finish those 8, maybe I would be like, revisit the semi-knowns, so to speak, such as Austria. Okay, maybe, right? This is just revisiting it. This isn't conclusive. I don't have the means to do any of this stuff currently, so it's revisiting. All right. Next up, ordering / country per trip. So the ordering is Scotland, which is already done. I did in July 2019. Ireland, Germany, Italy, England, Poland, United States of America, Norway. And I did that, or specific ordering was largely familiarity of language. And Scotland, English is not the native language of Scotland. And so I brushed up with that a little bit of, not all of the, some of the signs were both in Scottish Gaelic and English. In Ireland, the native language is Gaelic. There's Gaelic and Scottish Gaelic. Okay, they're not, they might be spelled the same, but it's Gaelic and Gaelic. Like garlic without the R, Gaelic for Scotland. So, yeah, so that's the ordering. The country per trip is 1 country per trip. The purpose of it is to not blur the countries, but to get a distinct feel for each of the countries my ancestors from. That I would not change. The ordering, I guess if I did change the order, it would depend on the country of my residence. And if that's a permanent residence and it like stable and like for the foreseeable future, like a permanent relocation to whatever country or staying in this country or whatever, and I get the means, and it's going to be stable enough for the duration of these, then there might be ordering changes. Like I came up with this list living in the United States of America, so if I moved outside of the United States of America, I might not put it at the end. I don't know. But tentatively, I'm not changing the ordering. Next category, going with or without travel companions. So in Scotland, I took Hedgie the Hedgehog. I now have a plush Leon. I could take them. I could not take them. If I were living with my soulmate and or soulmates and or let's say it takes a long time for me to leave this house, but I'm in contact, like my soulmates come and visit me and then leave me, but we start working on getting a residency figured out or something like that. If that's how that plays out. And so we have the means to travel or something as I'm departing here or something like that. It'd be cool to take like 1 soulmate of mine with me per trip. It doesn't have to be the same person, or it could be the same person. I don't know. There's a bit of I want to learn the place, and maybe it's like a car full of people. How many people can we fit in a compact rental car? So maybe 3 people. But the point of it is to learn the land and place of my ancestors, and my concerns with a bunch of people is kind of, I would rule that out, but like 1, 2, maybe like 3 or 4 more maybe would be okay, as long as they good conduct, no detracting from my learning experience. It's about me learning my ancestry and that kind of thing. So if it impedes that or impairs that, then I would not want to go, even if I were living with them, kind of thing. All right, it's not about me, it's about my ancestry. Okay, and because my ancestry is dead, or not all of it, right? My parents are alive and one of my grandparents is alive, but like, yeah, I don't want, it's about my family. Okay, up next, frequency of the trip. So the original spacing was 1 to 2 years, and this is actually the one that I'm revisiting this entire series kind of for. It was going to be 1 to 2 years, and then my flights got canceled, and I couldn't travel because I was not deemed essential personnel by the time of the flight's original scheduling. And then Iceland Air wouldn't give me my money back. Kind of thing. Okay, and the travel voucher expired, but they wouldn't give me my money back. That kind of thing, even though they said that was an option. They lied. Okay. So 1 to 2 years is out. Frequency of the trips, 1 to 2 years, unless something changes. Like if I were actually living with my soulmate and or soulmates and we had the means to do the trips, it'd be kind of wild to do something like do 2 years. Let's say I stay in charge. There's the possibility of like, let's say I live with my Nicolo and Nicolo is mine. And we decide, you know what? I'm going to stay in charge of my channel. This Tanis Corley Leonardi, I'm going to stay in charge of this channel, YouTube channel, Tanis Leonardi. Oh, 5 videos a day is a lot. Okay, like, this is like the kind of output level I've crashed on in the past. So that's why I don't say, like, tomorrow these videos are coming, because, like, I know myself. And I can just quit cold turkey for a few months. Or, like, quit without a degree from something I've spent over 4 years on. So, I know myself, and I know not to promise something that, historically speaking, I might not be able to deliver on. So if I were in charge, instead of, like, say, Nicolo, it would be really cool to do, and we had the means, it'd be really cool to do something like, on the first, for a given calendar year, on the first day of every month, go to one of the heritage travel trip countries and spend 28 days, do, like, the full 4 weeks, which I'll get to durations of trips or something like that. Full 4 weeks, document everything, but take a 2-year break from YouTube and document everything however I want to document it. Then take a few days off and then go to the next one. 8 months. Take like 4 months to get off-channel documentation set up, videos all set up. What do I want to put on my channel? Then the next year, upload the videos and publish them at the time I filmed them, so people could actually watch real time, but like a year delayed, what I did at, like, the video comes out when I started filming it. That to me is just, like, not possible. Okay, but if I wanted to do it really fun, like, and it were like my focus or something like that, that would be a 2-year commitment. Or, yeah, would be a 20 month minimum commitment or something like that, approximately, depending on the spacing. So something like that could be a possibility too. That sounds just bizarre and insane and, like, not possible or impossible. But, you know, if I were living with my soulmate and or soulmates and we had a stable home and the means to do it, I also know I can be, like, way overboard, like, doing 5 videos a day. So, you know, I would say to me it seems impossible, but I also know myself. So then, like, in the moment when the conditions arise for it to happen, it's just like, don't even think about it not being possible, because then it doesn't get done. So just do it, you know, kind of thing, and enjoy it. So I'll say that about frequency of trips. Up next, focus of trips. That has not changed. So it's ancestry, and then what I stabilize my ancestry with, which is like geology. Okay, I love geology. Geology is important for ancestry because that's a lot of rocks are kind of old. So like in North America, we got billions-year-old rocks. Right? The rocks are the same, kind of thing. So it's a way of saying I can focus on the people, but if I focus on, I'm a geologist by education / training / work experience, it helps me understand a little bit more of, like, if the landscape or the rocks haven't changed in a long time, my ancestors interacted with those rocks. So there's the bit of, I can learn about the people aspect, but the landscape and the people interact and did before I was alive as well. So that has not changed. Yeah. Next topic, approach of the trips, including documentation and YouTube. So that has, if I were to change the frequency, the YouTube approach might change. It would, alternatively, if I didn't change the frequency, I could do YouTubing while I'm on the trip. However, it wouldn't be live necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily want to do live, because it's like streaming live, even if I had enough subscribers, because I think I would get too concerned with, like, the internet connection. But it could be like I did Scotland, in the sense of the social media platforms I did upload to at the time, which I don't have anymore, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would, like, I got it done by the end of the day. However, then that also draws away from the trip. So there's some sort of balance there in terms of, that would very much depend on my technology setup and kind of the conditions in which the trip happens and my approach to YouTubing, and am I still in charge, or is somebody else still in charge, or stuff like that. But I think I discussed previously my approach to the trips, so that's documentation and YouTube. It'd be cool if I did the one every month and had a bunch of money, get my current phone, get like 8 iPhone XS or 7 iPhone XS. Do I repeat Scotland with a travel companion, you know, kind of thing, and do one phone or one GoPro or something for each trip, so I can take as many pictures and videos as I want, and then go through the hell of actually deciding on which ones to post. That would be really very different than what I did for Scotland, and would warrant me redoing Scotland with a travel companion if I wanted, and that were an option. Okay, so the approach to the trips was previously I explained as a teaser trailer, me going to get familiar with the country, and learn a little bit about what it's about. So if I went back later in life, I would have some sort of footing in understanding kind of my own ancestry, the geology, and just getting a feel for the country. Up last, duration of each trip was set at 2 to 4 weeks. I don't really see a reason to change that. If we were like super wealthy, no, because time is still a component. But I would do it, or like maybe more towards 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks. And if I were like a runner, my job was like a runner and a writer kind of thing, well, 4 weeks, it'd be great. It would be riding hell trying to document something, especially if I did the like 4 weeks of like each month, right? There might not even be a spacing between the one in February and March or whatever, you know, because there's 28 days in February, 3 out of 4 years, you know, kind of thing. It would be writing hell, documentation hell. It would be great if I was like my career title were like a writer and I had income from that, you know, a runner and had income from that. How do I balance writing, documentation, and running while on these things? Well, the writing is just actually the documentation, so that it doesn't actually feel like work. Oh yeah, no work on these, but because I do write and document, it is writing in that form, so it's like bonus work, but not actually work, kind of thing. Yeah. Duration of each trip. So if the means were possible, it'd be fun to max out the 2 to 4 weeks, which then I would have to go back to Scotland, or not have to, but that would be cool to go back to Scotland. Kind of thing. All right, in conclusion, I revisited it. Yes. I did it. And I did it before the end of my deadline, 31 October 2023. It's Friday, 13 October 2023. We'll see if this heritage travel trip series of mine, Tanis, Corley, and Nardi, is meant to be.